What if the love of your life woke up one day and didn't know you existed? Emily stood outside the hospital room, her fingers trembling around the handle of her bag. For 6 months, she'd waited, prayed, and clung to the hope that James would open his eyes. He was her fiancé, her partner in every dream they'd built together until the accident stole him away. A car crash, a coma, and now, a stranger in the body she loved. When James finally woke, his family barred her from seeing him. "He doesn't remember you," they said, their voices cold, final. But Emily wasn't ready to let go. Not yet. The hospital corridor smelled of antiseptic and despair. Emily's heart pounded as she recalled the moment she'd heard James was awake. She'd rushed to the hospital, her mind racing with images of their laughter, their late-night talks, the way he'd proposed under a sky full of stars. But when she arrived, his parents stood like gatekeepers at his door. "He's confused," his mother said, her eyes avoiding Emily's. "He doesn't know who you are. It's best if you stay away." His sister, Claire, added, "You'll only make things worse." Emily pleaded, her voice breaking. "He's my fiancé. We were planning our wedding." But they didn't budge. They painted her as an outsider, a burden to his recovery. Days turned into weeks, and their rejection grew sharper. They changed the locks on James's apartment, where Emily had practically lived. They blocked her number. It was as if she'd been erased from his life. She could have given up. It would have been easier to walk away, to let the pain swallow her whole. But love doesn't surrender so easily. Emily remembered the wedding video they'd made, a playful, heartfelt montage they'd planned to show at their reception. It captured their story, their first date at a rainy coffee shop, their road trips singing off-key, the moment James slipped a ring on her finger. If James couldn't remember her, maybe the video could. Sneaking into the hospital wasn't easy. Emily waited until the night shift, when the halls were quieter, and slipped past the nurse's station. Her heart raced as she entered James's room. He was awake, staring blankly at the ceiling, his once vibrant eyes dulled by confusion. "James," she whispered, her voice trembling. He turned, frowning. "Who are you?" The question cut deeper than any knife, but Emily swallowed her pain. "I'm someone who loves you," she said softly. She pulled out her tablet, her hands shaking as she opened the video. "Just watch this, please." James hesitated, his brow furrowing, but he nodded. The screen flickered to life, and their memories unfolded. There they were, laughing in a pumpkin patch, James smearing pie dough on her cheek in their tiny kitchen, dancing under fairy lights at their engagement party. Emily's voice narrated the video, steady and warm, recounting their promises to each other. Tears welled in her eyes as she watched James's face, searching for a spark of recognition. At first, he was silent, his expression unreadable. Then, as the video showed him proposing down on one knee, his voice cracking with emotion, something shifted. His eyes widened, and his hand reached out, almost instinctively, to pause the screen. "That's me," he murmured. "And you?" Emily nodded, her throat tight. "That's us, James. We were going to build a life together." He stared at the frozen image of himself, grinning as he held her hand. "I don't remember," he said, his voice breaking. "But I feel something." Emily's heart leapt. It wasn't much, but it was enough. Over the next few days, she visited secretly, showing him the video again and again. Each time, he asked questions, piecing together fragments of their past. His family noticed his growing curiosity and confronted Emily, their anger flaring. "You're confusing him," Claire shouted. But James, sitting up in his bed, spoke for the first time. "No," he said firmly. "She's helping me." The hospital room became their sanctuary. Emily shared stories the video couldn't capture, the way James always burned the toast, how he'd leave her little notes in her books. Slowly, James began to smile, to ask about their plans for the future. He didn't remember everything, but he felt the love they'd shared, and that was enough to start again. His family relented, their walls crumbling as they saw James's progress. They apologized, their voices heavy with regret. Emily forgave them, knowing their fear had driven their actions. Love, she realized, wasn't just about holding on, it was about fighting for what mattered, even when the odds seemed impossible. Months later, James and Emily sat together in a quiet park, the tablet between them. The wedding video played again, but this time, James reached for her hand. "I may not remember every moment," he said, his eyes steady. but I know I want to make new ones with you. Emily smiled, tears streaming down her face. The accident had stolen their past, but it couldn't take their future. They'd build it together, frame by frame, just like the video that brought them back to each other.